Hey Andrew, I'm going to give you a quick walk around tour of the Scout the way it is right now. I just opened that back hatch. It hasn't been sitting open like that. But this is how it sits. It's on factory leaf springs with the 4 9-inch rear end, the Dana 44 in the front, the big Super Swampers on it. I'm going to look at the size so we know for sure before I forget. They're 35 by 15 and a half. So 15 and a half inches wide on 15 by 10 steel wheels. It's a 5 lug, 5 on 5.5 bolt pattern. The exhaust is disconnected. It's sitting on the original factory leaf springs, but I have a set of 2.5-inch Skyjacker lift springs. Here's the eyes right here. There's 4. It's a complete set of lightly used leaf springs with good polyurethane bushings. There's the other end of them. All 4 are there. Here's the manual for the Scout. I also have a digital copy of that I can email you if you want it. This is the roof rack. It's made of aluminum, so it's not corroded. And the hardware is in here. Well, it looks like the hardware is in there. We pulled this off because it wouldn't fit out of my garage without it. Those are the seats from a 99, I believe, or 98 Chevrolet work truck. So it's got the seat belts built in. Here's some antifreeze that you can have, or to fill up the engine. STP break-in oil additive. It's got that zinc or whatever that's missing from modern oil. There's the pinion for the Ford 9-inch. The pinion gear is not rusted, which is great. I was kind of worried about that, but it looks like it's in good shape, although the plastic bag is deteriorated around it. The yoke is already on there, but I don't believe that it is torqued to specifications. But it's a new pinion gear, new pinion nut, new pinion bearings, and we have the U-bolts for the yoke. There's one of the new engine mounts, or both new engine mounts, are right down there. They're yeah. There's a receipt that you're going to find in a folder with the truck. There's some leftover gaskets for something. I don't remember how I ended up with a couple extra gaskets from something. Anyway, the original engine harness and body harness is all in this box, along with a couple extra Scout parts. Here's shims and other shims for the pinion, for the rear axle. Looks like everything's in good shape there, which is great. Some heater hose, headlight bezel, an extra fuel filter, and some tubing for that should be for fuel, for high pressure fuel. I was going to run rigid fuel lines at one point, but changed my mind. That's what that's for. There's the front drive shaft. I don't know if you can see it next to these brake rotors sitting on the ground. I think that's what that is. No, I'm wrong. That's a front axle. It's splined on this end, so that's actually an axle for the front. It should be it's a spare, although I don't really remember where it came from. Alright, I'm going to hit pause now and do another video so it doesn't get too big to upload. Alright, now we're on video number 2. The hood for the Scout is sitting underneath. It's in good shape. There's no major damage. The hinge connects to the front. And you see this is the front. We've got a tarp covering to keep the weather out. There's aftermarket spring shackles, painted red. There's that Dana 44 front axle. Yeah, the axle shafts are in there, so that I'm not sure where that spare came from, but and then yeah, there's the tie rod and drag link, which are disconnected. There's high steer arms on the knuckles, which is a good thing. It helps with the steering angle. And that breather hanging underneath the truck is a for the front differential. You can mount the breather up high so that you can do water crossings without ruining the gear oil. Here's another shot. There's the brake hose. It's just dangling there. I tied it in a knot there so it wouldn't get lost. But it's a brand new brake hose for that front disc brake. aftermarket U-bolts are, I think, 3/4 inch. They're pretty heavy duty. They might just be 5/8. There's the starter. It is installed, which was one of my questions that I couldn't remember. I'm going to open up the passenger door. A dog water bowl for some reason. Here's the Ford 9-inch spool. It's nice and greasy and dirty, but not rusty, which is really good news. Here's another Scout manual. Some of that applied, some of it didn't apply. There's an extra engine control module for the fuel injection. There's the wiring harness. Everything is labeled. All the important stuff is hooked up, and there's some spares that are not used. Like service engine soon light, for example. The 73 Scout just doesn't have one of those in the dash. Anyway, there's going to be a million questions once you start getting into this thing. There's the key. It's a International Harvester branded key, which is nice. And anyway, that's it. If you need anything, if you want to see anything else on video, just let me know and I'll look it up. Here's what it looks like. The floor pan, this is the worst rust on the vehicle right here. It's rusted through a little bit. It's a little bit worse on the other side. There's kind of a funny pocket that was prone to rust. And right here is where a lot of mud was deposited and ended up. And it led to this corrosion in this area. Oh, and there's the rear drive shaft. It does have a rear drive shaft. It's just chilling and tied up on the underside of the truck to keep it out of the way. So it does have a rear drive shaft. At least you have something to work with. Alright, thanks.